My name is Brendam O'Connel. I live in Dublin, which is where I met Alisson, and I work in Trinity College in Dublin, lecturer in English literature there. I was in a job that I had kind of dreamed of for a long time. It was in lots of ways, it was a really positive position, but being in the job nonetheless, I found that it was stressful. I found that in some ways wasn't living up to everything that I had hoped for and dreamed. I found that I was quite stressed a lot of the time. I often felt that some of my kind of skills or my values or my qualities weren't really being kind of fully appreciated at work, and so I would kind of come home and not really feel grateful for this really good job that I had, and not feel that, and I wasn't really feeling that I was making the most of that profession. One of the main things I think that I was struggling with was a sense of kind of imposter syndrome, which I was having, was feeling that I was not fully happy in my work life, and that I wasn't feeling that sense of balance perhaps between my family life, my home life, and what I was doing in my job. So I was getting stressed. I was finding it very hard to keep a good balance going in my life. And I think, like all of us at any stage in life, we can feel that things are a little bit challenging or overwhelming, and that we need perhaps to get a bit of extra support or some extra guidance to help us along the way. And I think that's why I reached out to you and asked you if you'd take me on for some life coaching. But sometimes we really need to hear from somebody else who can kind of reflect back to us what our kind of issues are and help us to understand what we're really struggling with. When I first got to know you, I felt very a strong sense that you were a very confident person, very outgoing, that you knew what you wanted to do, and all of that, which was very appealing. But I think what really helped me to kind of trust you was with my concerns, was your own kind of openness, and at times your willingness to talk about the fact that life isn't perfect, isn't open, that we all are trying to do to get through life and to live our lives. And I found that your approach was always very open, very honest, and at times very vulnerable, and you would open up about things that you were working on as well. You weren't trying to present to anybody that you had life sorted, that everything is absolutely perfect all the time, that there's some magic potion that you can take and that everything will be absolutely fine. What you really emphasized was that it is about the process, coming to understand yourself, what your goals were, what your values were, and then putting in place certain kind of practices that would help you to get there, and to just remind you on a daily basis of what you are doing, why you are doing it, you are willing to do to get there. And that for me was the one of the key insights that I got from working with you, was just that ability to recognize when I was reacting very emotionally to some stress at work, and I needed to step back and pause, and, as you often say, look at another side of the cube, or look at things from a different angle or a different perspective. One of the things that I would say that I think is really good, and that I'm really grateful to you for, is really helping me have a sense of awareness around, I suppose, my own attitude to work or to life, and to try to really understand what my own values were with respect to my work, my personal life. I think that's something that we sometimes lose when we're feeling stressed, is we lose a sense of ourselves, a sense of our kind of identity. And one of the things that I found particularly beneficial about your approach and your style was that you placed the value first and foremost on understanding what my true identity was and what my values were, what my goals were, what I wanted from life, what would make me a happier person. And I think that's one of the things that I particularly valued, was the opportunity to talk to somebody about what success or happiness or balance meant to me, as opposed to thinking about what it meant to everybody else. Looking at the way other people measure success or their happiness or their values, and thinking, if I want to be successful or happy, I have to have all the things that they have. Working with you as a coach really helped me to personalize that and understand that really the most important thing is what I want, what any of us want, and what will make us feel more fulfilled or happier in our jobs or our personal lives or our health or whatever it might be. I think one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned from working with you relates to some of the work that we've done on mindfulness and thinking about being present in the moment. And in particular, there's one idea that you have reinforced over and over again in our sessions, which is that a thought is just a thought, and that sometimes you will have a negative thought, and that can lead to negative view of yourself or negative view of others, of the world around you, and then that can lead to certain behaviors. But the key skill that really I've developed through working with you is an ability to be able to pause, simply to observe the thoughts that I'm having or the feelings that I'm having, to recognize that these are thoughts, these are emotions. They are real in that I'm experiencing them at the moment, but that they are not the only thought or the only feeling that I can have in response to a situation that I'm in. And that if I want to move from a negative situation in which my goals are not being reached or my needs are not being met, to one in which my needs and goals are being served and being met, that all I really need to do at some level is pause, observe, and reflect, and then change, look at a different angle, a different side of the cube again, to use the phrase that we often use. I think one of the biggest transformations for me relates to this point that we have spoken about in relation to imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough. And I think for me, before we started working together, I always thought that the answer to that feeling of inadequacy or feeling like an imposter had to be more work. I must work harder. I must do more hours. I must be better. I must do more than anybody else. And I thought that once I did that, that would make me feel better. And I thought that was the only way forward. And I think for me, the transformation that I have seen in myself, which I never expected to see, was really being able to move away from that kind of really wrong attitude to my own value and to my own worth as a person, and to recognize really that I do have skills and I do have qualities that I bring to my workplace. I do good work, and to recognize really that there can be a lot of value in simply being open and vulnerable about your own worries or concerns, that you can, in a professional context or working with colleagues or with students, you can open up to the fact that you're not sure, that you don't have all the answers, but you want to work on finding the solutions. Because it's never about having all the answers right now at your fingertips. It's about knowing that there is a way forward, there is a solution, and that if you just bring the right frame of mind to it, the right approach to it, you will find it. And that for me is the biggest transformation in my life, and something I'm very grateful for. I think really I would recommend you to anyone really who was struggling to find a balance in life. But I think in particular, one issue that comes up for a lot of people is people are too busy to take time for themselves sometimes, or they feel that I can't afford to take this time really for me to reassess what I want to get out of life, to bring kind of balance between the kind of physical aspects of my body and my health, to bring awareness to my life and to my work, or to whatever it is that is occupying my thoughts. And so for me, really, I would say that for anyone who thinks that they don't have time to work on themselves, they probably would be well advised to talk to you, because I think they would gain so much insight into ways of making their life so much more effective and so much more efficient, because once you start to recognize that everything is interconnected, that your life is, your mind and your body and all of the different aspects of your life are really aspects of you and the way that you live in the world. And once you get the kind of insights that you provide in your coaching, I think that really does help people to really look afresh at their lives and see new ways of being in the world. There are so many different demands that are placed on them, whether it's in their work life, in their relationships, in terms of their health. And for anybody who's feeling that things aren't quite working together, that not every aspect of their lives is working towards the kind of person they want to be, the kind of life they want to have, the kind of goals that they want to meet, I think anyone in that position can really benefit from working with somebody like you.